Last lesson, we looked at what cells are and what cells do. But what exactly are cells made from? How do they do the things that they can do, which is really everything? Hi, I'm Mr. V, and this lesson is on parts of a cell. There are many kinds of cells, but a lot of these cells have very common parts to them. In this video, we're going to look at animal cells in particular and all of the parts that animal cells have in common. And in the next video, we're going to compare animal cells and plant cells, which are very similar, but there are a few differences. Cells are very easily distinguishable because they have very definite outer boundaries. The outer layer of a cell is what we call a cell membrane. The cell membrane is flexible, which allows the cell to be able to move and change its shape around a little bit. It's also thin enough to allow certain particles to move in and out of the cell, while not allowing other particles to move in and out, which helps the cell with its daily functions. Just like your body has organs that carry out a certain function, for example, the eye allows us to see, and our stomach allows us to digest food, and our hands allow us to pick up things, the organelles within a cell allow the cell to carry out various functions. Each organelle has a specific function, and in this video we'll look at a couple of them. All of the organelles are held in place by the cytoplasm, which is this gel-like substance that is inside of the cell. It's held there by the cell membrane. The cytoplasm is somewhat tough, but it's still very flexible. It sets the organelles in place, but still allows the cell itself to be able to move and shape. By far the most important organelle in the cell is the nucleus. The nucleus is the control center of the cell. It manages all of the functions of the cell. The way the nucleus does this is by the DNA. The DNA is contained within the nucleus, and it is kind of like the blueprint of the cell. The DNA is read by the nucleus, and then the nucleus tells the cell what to do and how to form. We need to eat in order to get energy to perform our daily functions, like walking around and going to school. The cell requires energy to perform as well, and it actually gets its energy from the food, but on a much smaller scale. The organelle responsible for powering the cell is the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria take in the nutrients from our food and turn them into energy that the cells can then use to perform their functions. Lastly, the cell also contains vacuoles. Vacuoles are little storage bubbles within the cell. Vacuoles can store anything from excess nutrients that the cell wants to hold on to proteins that it hasn't yet released, to waste that it doesn't want to contaminate other cells around itself. Vacuoles can change shape and size depending on what it is needed for, and sometimes vacuoles are also used to hold the cell in shape. In this video, we've given a brief overview of all of the organelles. Most of them are a lot more complex than what we've described here, but the main functions have been explained fairly well. In the next video, we're going to look at how animal cells and plant cells are different.